Hello, welcome to episode 2.
There's our blanket, excellent.
An asymmetrical twist. Dropping and sinking.
Notice how
So just notice. Joining us for the second episode next week. Namaste. Hello and welcome to episode 39 of Namaste Yoga. I'm flying solo today, and since I thought it would be a great day to show you our sponsors, Prima Clothing. They have their own line of t-shirts too, and this is one of their t-shirts for the spring and summer of 2010, and I really love it. It's got the Prima logo right here at the heart, and then on the back it's got really fancy inscription, and it says "Love in that," if you can see that. So we love Prima Clothing. They are a very conscious company, environmentally conscious. They're very involved in the community and in charity work, and they're all about promoting your events. So if you love this t-shirt, and I always get so many compliments on it when I wear it, you can check it out at primaclothing.com. And thanks to Prima Clothing for supplying us with our Namaste Yoga t-shirts each week. So I wanted to say thank you too this week for your emails. I received emails from several of you this week, and I'm so glad that you took the opportunity to write, and it's great to hear how much you're enjoying Namaste Yoga. I've had 2 letters from Italy now, and I want to thank Viola again for making yet another donation to Namaste Yoga. Those really help us out and help us keep going here. And just your emails and words of encouragement always are so nice to receive and really help me keep going. So thank you for those. This week we're continuing with our series of classes on the Yamas and the Niyamas. We're right into the Niyamas now, working on the second Niyama. And last week our Niyama was Saucha, which means cleanliness. And those of you who receive my newsletter, and if you'd like to receive my newsletter, you can just go to my website, melissawest.com. But those of you who receive my newsletter know that I started a cleanse last week in response to working with Saucha last week, and it's going pretty well. I'm a little tired, a little foggy, so if I seem a little tired and foggy, that's because of the cleanse. And the cleanse is a really simple one. It's just basically no refined foods, no animal products, and no wheat or sugar, which I guess count as refined foods. So it's going pretty well, not that much different from the way I normally eat, but I'm still really noticing and feeling the effects of that. So I'd love to hear about how your work with the Yamas and Niyamas are going. Do feel free to email me at info@melissawest.com. So this week, Niyama number 2, Santosha, which means contentment. And I have to say, this is where I'm going to be putting my energy for July and August. This is going to be my focus for my 2-month sadhana practice. I'm interested in practicing being content with where I am and with what I have, and the gifts that I have, and just practicing gratitude for what's around me and in my life. So that's what Santosha is all about. It's about being grateful for what we have, for the gifts we've been given, and it's about being content with who we are and what we have in our lives. And when we cultivate gratitude, this really helps to deepen Santosha, deepen our contentment, because when we realize how many things we have to be thankful for, it's a lot easier to feel contentment. Nichala Joy Devi translates this sutra as, when at peace and content with oneself and others, supreme joy is celebrated. So why don't you go ahead and rest back into shavasana, and we'll do some guided relaxation and centering around Santosha. So taking a moment to settle in and just expressing gratitude in this moment for being able to practice yoga, for having the resources to be able to do a yoga video podcast like Namaste Yoga. And as you're resting back here, I want you to take a moment to express and cultivate gratitude for one gift that you have. And then begin to cultivate gratitude for something in your life that brings you contentment. And now we're going to shift to a breathing exercise that was originally taught by Thich Nhat Hanh. And it's breathing with a mantra. So as you breathe in, say to yourself, breathing in, I calm my body. And as you breathe out, say to yourself, breathing out, I smile. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. And as you breathe out and say to yourself, breathing out, I smile, actually lift the corners of your mouth a little and put a smile on your face. So breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. And this may even be a mantra you want to carry with you throughout your practice today. But before we begin to move and to stretch our bodies, take a moment to set an intention around how you would like to cultivate santosha in your yoga practice. So as we practice yoga, sometimes we can get into comparing ourselves to others or some ideal of the pose or how we used to be in the pose or how we want to be in the pose. And let's just see if today we can be really content with where we are right now in this present moment. And then when you're ready, you can begin to wiggle and stretch out. We're going to start lying on our backs with our knees bent and feet flat on the floor. Okay, so with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor, we're going to inhale, center, and exhale, roll your head to the right. And then inhale, the head center, and exhale, roll your head to the left. And just really allow the neck to release and relax and let go. Inhale, center. Exhale, roll your head to the right. And inhale, center. Breathe out and roll your head to the left. And just keep going with that. Remembering our mantra, breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. Breathe in, center. I'm going to get you to take your arms up. Let your shoulders drop really heavy onto the ground. In fact, you just inhale and reach the arms up, and then you'll feel the backs of the shoulders come off the ground. Exhale, lower them down and let the shoulders be on the ground, the collarbone broad and wide, and then hold on to the elbows. You'll breathe in, center here. Breathe out, roll the head and elbows to the right as you breathe out. Breathe in, center. Breathe out, roll your head and elbows to the left. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. Then center. Keep the head in the center. This time you'll breathe out, lower the elbows to the right. Breathe in, center. Breathe out, lower the elbows to the left. So the head stays in the center this time. And then breathe in, center. This time we'll move the head and elbows the opposite way. And breathe in, center. Let's lower the head and the elbows to the right, the knees to the left. Breathe in, center. Breathe out, lower the knees to the right and the head and elbows to the left. And then inhale. Inhale, center again. This time, the elbows and knees will go opposite direction. Your head will go with your knees now. So elbows to the right, knees and head to the left. Breathe in, center. Elbows to the left, head and knees to the right. In center. And rest. To shavasana and just feel the contentment of the body now after doing that, releasing through the shoulders and the spine. And then I'm going to get you to roll over onto your stomach. Okay, so lying on your stomach, I want you to place your hands underneath your shoulders rolled back and up. Give a chance for the body to settle into the ground. And breathe out and draw the abdominal wall back towards the back body. And then we're going to inhale and lift. And exhale and lower down. So inhaling, lift. And exhaling and lower down. And just come up as high as is comfortable for you today. So being content with where you are, wherever that is for you. That's what it means to practice Santosha contentment. And so that's easy to do on days when the body's moving nicely. And more challenging, it's more of a practice on the days when the body's maybe not moving the way that you want it to. Let's just do one more like that. And then we'll shift up and back into child's pose. And then roll up through the spine And you're going to come to standing on your knees. And we're going to do some mini sun salutations. So start with your hands at your heart. These are the sun salutations that, when I learned these from Michael Stone, actually, who I had on my radio show this week. The show's not going to air until August, but he's a fabulous local teacher in Toronto. And he joked when he taught these to us that these are the sun salutations you do if you live in an attic. So if you live in an attic and you can do sun salutations, this is the way to do it. But they're lovely. I love them because they're just so expansive and open the heart. So let's close our eyes, remember our intention of cultivating santosha. And then inhale and reach up. Just lift the heart up to the sun. Exhale, fold forward into child's pose with the hands down by the feet. And then inhale, peel the spine off the lap, reach up. Exhale, bring the hands to the heart, namaste. Inhaling, reach up. Lift the heart to the sun. Exhaling, fold forward. Inhaling, peeling the spine, reaching up. Exhaling, hands to the heart. So it feels like, as I'm practicing this right now, it feels like I'm offering my practice to this beautiful tree we have in our backyard and expressing gratitude for it. So, another way of expressing gratitude is that we can dedicate our practices to. So it doesn't always have to be an intention. It can be a dedication. And today might be a good day to choose to dedicate your practice to something. And let's do a couple more. Inhale, reach up. Lift the heart. Exhale, fold forward, sit back down on the heels. Inhaling, peeling the back off the lap, reach up. Exhaling, hands to the heart. We'll do one more like that. Inhale, reach up. Lift the heart. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhaling, peeling the back, reaching up, lifting the heart. Exhaling, hands to the heart. Namaste. Great. Okay, let's do some lunge pose. So actually, let's come into down dog to do it. Stretch out the backs of the legs since we haven't done that yet. Coming into down dog. You might want to just alternate the heels to the ground, opening up the backs of the legs. I swear we don't have a dentist chair in our backyard, but it sounds like somebody's drilling teeth. I don't know if you can hear that. I'm not sure what that power tool is. Okay, let's start by walking the left leg through, lowering the right knee to the ground. And I want you to really think about rooting and grounding through that left foot, sinking down and coming upright. And then roll your shoulders back and down. Let's take the hands behind the back and lift the chest. And then soften and lower. Fold forward over that front leg. Step back into downward facing dog. And then inhale and take the right leg through, leaning into lunge on the other side. Dropping ground through that right leg, coming upright. Let yourself settle in here, dropping down through the right hip. Shoulders roll broad and wide. I want you to open the heart and lift the arms behind you. Okay, and release down. Let's step back into down dog again. And then lower your knees, and we're going to do a pose called puppy pose. This is a back bend that opens towards the ground, and I want you to think about opening your heart to the ground. The way you do it is you come onto your knees. Your legs are perpendicular to the ground. You're going to lift your tail and reach your arms forward, open the chest to the ground. You're going to start on your forehead, and maybe if your nose starts to get really squished, then you come up onto your chin. So ground down through the shins at the back, breathing into the armpits, reaching the hands forward. And I find the best way to come out of this is to shift forward. Yeah, and then come back into child's pose. So let the back of the pelvis rest heavy onto the heels, and just let the arms rest and drape, the spine be long. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. Then you're going to roll up through your spine and come to standing on your knees again. So I don't know how this happened, but this ended up to be a very stand on your knees class. So at home, you can put a blanket under your knees or fold up your mat or whatever would take any of the hardness off the knees. It's interesting here being on the soft ground. We did have a lot of rain this week, so it's pretty soft. It feels really nice. So let's take the your right leg out to the side, and I want you to spend a few moments leveling off the pelvis. So if it's really high up like this, we want both hip bones level, it probably means just taking your leg out a little bit further. Okay, and toes are facing front. That'll really help you level that kind of skew so it's not rotated. Let the tail drop down so the back of the pelvis is long, and then we'll inhale, reach up, and exhale, side bend over that right leg and lower the right arm down to either above or below the knee. And just let yourself be where you are today without forcing it to be bigger. Just be content with where you are right now. And then slowly up. And we'll do that on the other side as well. So standing on your right knee now. Take your left leg out to the side. Maybe take it out a little bit further to level off your pelvis side to side. Drop your tail. Back of the pelvis is long. Inhale, reach up. Exhale and side bend over your left leg and really open up that right shoulder too. So sometimes in an attempt to go forward, we roll in, to go to the side, we roll forward. So open. And I am just actually going to come out of this pose a little early. You can stay. I'm just getting a little twinge in my knee there. So always important to take care of yourself. That was just pulling on the inside of my knee there. So just be careful with that. And now when you're ready to breathe in and come out. And then slowly making your way up to a standing position. So of course we can't do a class on contentment without doing breath of joy. And we just did it last week too. So let's, the hand positions is a breath practice, breath moving practice. You're going to breathe in front, breathe into the side, breathe in overhead, and then you're going to exhale and drop down. So breathe in front, breathe inside, breathe in overhead, and exhale. And as you're doing this, I want you to pay attention to the movement of the shoulder joint, of the top of the arm bone in the socket there. Just feel the ball and socket moving around. One more. And exhale. I like to hang down for a bit, feel my feet on the ground, take a couple of breaths. And then we can make our way back up to standing slowly so you don't get dizzy. Okay. Okay, so let's do another heart opener. Take your hands behind your back. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Roll your shoulders broad and wide. Sink your feet down into the ground. And I want you to start lifting the arms and then lifting the heart. Be very conscious of keeping the tail tucked under, so you don't want it swinging up here. You'll shorten the lumbar vertebra if you do that. Okay, and then soften and release. Maybe just roll those shoulders back and down. So, you know, what's really interesting to me, just in relationship to last week's class on Saucha, is that I've noticed that in doing this cleanse for 5 days now, that my shoulder joints are really flexible. So the flexibility is really increased. So that's really cool, an unexpected benefit. So let's go to side angle pose. Okay, so standing at the back of your mat, let's take a big step forward with the left foot. And I want you to bend your front left knee, sink down through the front left buttocks, spin your right hip back and your left hip forward. But if you spin too much and that knee comes in, you just keep rolling the knee out over the second and third toe. That would be the most important thing. And then you're going to bring your right arm all the way over. And then we'll inhale and come up. Take both toes and point them straight ahead. Interlace the fingers behind the back again. Shoulders go broad and wide. Open the chest, hinge from the hips, and fold forward. And then we'll slowly roll up from that. And then I'll have you turn your right toes probably towards the back of your mat now. Bending your right knee, so you've got a nice deep flexion in that right knee. Back leg is straight. Bring the right elbow to the top of the right leg. The left arm can come all the way over. Keep opening up the left shoulder, opening the heart. You could also, option would be to bring the right hand down to the ground here too. Okay, and then slowly up. Come with the toes pointing forward again. Let's interlace the fingers behind that back. Roll the shoulders broad and wide. Open the chest. Hinge forward from the hips again. And then slowly back up. Okay, and we're gonna do tree pose. So come to standing with the legs together. So I'm gonna be doing tree beside my favorite tree in the whole world. And I'm trying to find a spot in the ground that's not so uneven from the roots of this tree. So choose which leg you want to stand on first, and then you can take the opposite leg. You can keep the toes on the ground, or you can bring them up to the inside of the calf or the inside of the thigh. And bring the hands to the heart. Feel the supporting leg rooting down into the ground. And then you can bring the hands overhead. Great, and then release that side. Let's do tree pose on the other side. So standing on that supporting leg. Toes can stay on the ground, inside of the calf, or inside of the thigh. Hands start at the heart, and then maybe overhead. You can choose wherever you want your hands to be in this pose. I often like to leave mine at the heart. Today it feels like it might be nice to bring them right to my third eye. Right, and then you can release that. Okay, so now I want to do a pose, and often I do this pose when I do it in classes. I'll use it as a preparation pose or as a pose in aid of something else. But I want you to think of this pose today as our peak pose, as the destination pose. And I'm going to be coming down for this pose. I'm going to be lowering down onto the ground for this pose. So you can come down onto your knees. And this pose is a posture of surrender. So symbolically in this pose, we lower the head below the heart. And this helps us to let go of being controlled by the brain, by our egoic attachments. And by that, I mean sort of like expectations of not being good enough, not measuring up. These are all things that keep us from being content. And so when we symbolically lower the head below the heart, then we are able to tune into our heart and into our divine wisdom and bow to our divine self. So that's the whole point of this pose. So I want you to think about this as the pinnacle of our practice today. And this tends to be a pose that people in my classes don't necessarily love a lot. There's a soft spot on the top of the head. It's kind of tender. It always makes me think about when we were babies. But that spot on the top of the head is really tender. But you're not going to hurt yourself unless it's really crunching through the neck. You're not going to hurt yourself. So I encourage you to put a blanket down and just see about staying with that tenderness today, okay? So we'll start kneeling with the fingers interlaced behind the back, and then you'll fold forward. And you're going to roll onto the top of the head and lift the buttocks off the ground and lift the arms. Keep connecting with the shins and the tops of the feet at the back of the body. Oh, there's a bug on my arm. Okay, and then you're going to slowly roll down. And maybe just rest in child's pose for a few breaths. And then roll up. And we're going to stretch at the neck a little bit after that. So just circle the head in front. It sounds like they're having a bird convention in our backyard. Okay, great. Let's come back up onto your knees. I told you this was a class about being on your knees. There's a lot of on your knee stuff. So extra padding under your knees if you need it. We're going to do camel pose. And I find camel pose is a pose where we don't tend to accept where we are. We don't surrender to what's happening in the moment. And in this pose, if we can be really present and content with where we are and just let the opening be as big as it wants to be today, okay? So I think it's something about reaching the heels. And, I see people do all kinds of things to make that happen, like leaning back. And let's just take that reaching for the heels totally out of the scenario today and focus on it being a backbend through the thoracic spine. And just letting it open as much as it wants to be today, and practice being content with where it's at. So hands are going to be on the pelvis. You can roll your shoulders broad and wide, so widen those collarbones. And use the hand on the rim of the pelvis to lengthen the back of it. And then just start to lengthen through the spine and lift the heart, and just let it be where it wants to be today. Great, and then come forward, sit back into child's pose, stretch out that low back. And then roll up through the spine. Great. Okay, so we're going to come to our final couple of seated postures. I'm going to sit this way because I'm on an incline this way. That'll help me with my seated postures. Okay, bring your legs out long in front of you. I'm going to get you to slide your left leg in and cross the left leg all the way over the right leg. And then fold the right foot up to the left hip. Maybe. If you can do this and it feels okay in the knees, and you're able to sit down on both sides of the buttocks, then that's great. If not, then take that right leg back out again, okay? If the hip is not ready to handle this, then it's going to go to the next weakest joint, which is the knees, and you don't want to mess with the knees. So really listen to your own body, be content with where you're at, and honor that. So I'm going to sit like this today, actually. My knees are feeling, they're moving a lot. Maybe that's part of that joint fluidity thing. Take your right arm to the outside of the left knee. So yeah, my knees just did not feel stable enough to do that today. And then come center. Let's twist to the other side. And come center. Can you guys see that sparrow right beside me here? Okay, let's inhale. Exhale, we'll hinge forward from the hips and keep the back long. So let's not round forward like this. Let's keep the spine long. Inhale and exhale, fold forward. So it's funny, I said I didn't have any guests on my show today, but I have a sparrow joining us. Okay, let's uncross that leg. And then my cameraman just tells me that we had a beautiful mourning dove here as well. So, you know, the one thing that I love about our place here is we have tons of birds, and that is something that I am extremely grateful for. We have no pets inside, but we have so many pets outside. We love our birds here. Okay, let's slide the right leg in. Cross the right leg over the left. And then maybe you're going to fold this left foot up to the right buttocks. Okay, so that's interesting. For me, on this side, this feels good. So if that feels good for you, great. If not, you're going to go back to the left leg being out. So I'll just do it this way just for so that we're consistent. Okay, so a twist. Doesn't matter which side, we're going to do both ways. The other way. There's the mourning dove again, and inhale, exhale, fold forward, keep the spine long. Here he comes. And then inhaling up, let's take both legs out long in front. And this pose is really about surrendering to what is, and being content with where you are. So let's lift and spread the buttocks away at the back. It's about letting go of control, letting go of outcome. This pose really is about that. Inhale here, I want you to exhale, hinge forward from the hips. So not a rounded curved spine, a nice flat spine hinging forward. So, and for me, this pose is a real challenge, and you know, that's okay. Let's just practice being where we are today. And some of you may be able to hinge forward from the hips and go a lot further, but just practice being where you are. Okay, and then come up. The birds are now stealing the show. That's okay, birdies. All right, let's finish in a seated position. I want you to sit cross-legged if you can. We'll bring our hands into Namaste, but a reverse Namaste hands. And we're going to finish with a reading from the Radiance Sutras. Let your attention glide through the centers of awareness along the spine with adoring intent. There is a song to each area of the body. Listen to these sounds, resonating in sweet vortices. long rhythmic vowels, ah and e, and om, resounding on and on. Listen to these sounds as, then more subtly as an underlying hum, eventually as most subtle feeling, then diving more deeply, dissolve into freedom. So as you have your hands in reverse Namaste position, head bowed to the heart, take a moment to reflect on gratitude, on what you have to be grateful for. I'm grateful for the birds coming to join us today. I can hear them right behind me. And set an intention for how you will cultivate santosha in your practice this week and in your life. Thank you for joining us for episode 39 of Namaste Yoga. Have a wonderful week. I'll see you next week. Namaste.